disaster for their data. And that's true. But there's another question that doesn't get asked enough. Can you actually move your data if you needed to? Because the real test of a software vendor isn't always how easy it is to get started. It's how easy it is to leave. Can you export your data cleanly? Can you migrate without paying for expensive vendor help? Can you switch platforms without turning it into a crisis? That's what we're talking about today. Your data should give your business flexibility, not trap you inside a tool that maybe you've outgrown. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Kinnett. I'm CEO and founder of Eternal Networks. And here at Eternal Networks, we believe in empowering businesses and individuals with the knowledge that they need to succeed. So every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I go live on all of our socials to discuss different topics around cybersecurity and technology to help empower others. At Eternal Networks, we're dedicated to creating safe and secure environments for businesses and people to thrive in doing what they love. And helping to educate others on technology and cybersecurity is a key part of our mission. At the end of the live stream, I'll make sure to leave time to answer questions from the audience. So if you have any at any time as I'm talking, please just throw them in the comments in the chat, and I'll cover those at the end. With that being said, let's get on to today's topic. Today, we're talking about something I call a backup exit strategy. And really, it comes down to one important question. If you had to leave one of your business platforms tomorrow, could you actually take your data with you? A lot of businesses focus heavily on getting into a platform. The onboarding process looks smooth, the demos are polished, and everything feels easy at the beginning. But the real test of a vendor relationship isn't how simple it is to sign up. The real test is whether you can leave cleanly if you ever need to. Could you export your data without opening multiple support tickets? Can you move into another platform without paying a huge migration fee? Can your team actually use the exported data once you have it? That's where many businesses discover they have less control than they thought. Some vendors make exports difficult. Others provide incomplete exports that leave out important data, such as attachments, historical activity, permissions, audit logs, relationships between the records, right? All this is important information. And when that happens, the software stops feeling like a tool and starts feeling a little like a trap. This issue matters even more today because businesses rely on more cloud platforms than ever before. Your company's information probably isn't sitting in one place. You might have customer data that sits in a CRM, financial records in an accounting platform, documents in a cloud storage provider, internal communications on Teams or Slack, maybe both, and automation workflows connecting everything together. That creates convenience, but it also creates dependency. If one vendor changes pricing dramatically, removes important features, changes policies, suffers a security issue, or simply no longer fits your business, switching isn't always easy. You're not just changing software anymore, you're trying to untangle years of business data and operational processes. That's where vendor lock-in becomes a real business risk. Sometimes companies stay with systems they no longer like simply because leaving seems too difficult. They know there are better options available, but the migration process feels overwhelming. So they stay stuck. Over time, that limits flexibility, increases costs, and reduces your ability to adapt quickly. One thing that I see often is businesses underestimating the financial impact of poor portability. The monthly subscription itself may not seem unreasonable, but the long-term cost comes from losing the ability to make choices freely. Maybe you delay upgrading to a better system. Maybe you keep duplicate platforms running longer than necessary. Maybe you accept rising costs because migration feels risky. Or you avoid consolidating tools because the process feels overwhelming. All of these situations quietly drain money and productivity over time. A strong backup exit strategy changes that dynamic. It gives your business leverage. It allows you to compare vendors objectively and make decisions based on what's best for the organization, not based on fear of moving your data. That flexibility becomes extremely valuable as technology changes faster and businesses evolve. So what should businesses actually look out for? First, your data should be exportable, and not just exportable, but exportable in a usable format. CSV files, SQL exports, API connections, JSON, right? Something practical that your internal team or IT partner can work with. Second, the export should be a complete export. You don't just want raw records. You want all of the surrounding context too. That includes things like the attachments, permissions, audit history, metadata, notes, comments, relationships between systems. All of these are important. Third, the process should be documented clearly. You shouldn't have to guess how to retrieve your own information during a stressful situation. And finally, you should test it. That's one of the biggest things that businesses overlook. Don't wait until an emergency to find out whether your exports actually work. Run a sample export now. Review the data. Verify what's included and what's missing. See how difficult it would actually be to restore or migrate that information somewhere else. These small exercises can reveal major problems before they turn into expensive emergencies. I would also add, do this on an ongoing basis as a backup for that data. What happens if that vendor suffers a major breach and goes down and is down for an extended period of time and you don't have access to your data? That can also act as a backup to be able to move in a quick emergency. Another thing businesses sometimes overlook is the security side of a migration. Whenever large amounts of data are moving between systems, your risk is increased. You often have elevated permissions, temporary admin accounts, third-party support teams, and sensitive business information all active at the same time. That makes migrations a prime target for attackers. So migrations should always be treated as security events, not just IT projects. That means that you have to use strong authentication methods. You have to limit administrative access as much as you can. Monitor sign-ins during the transition period. And make sure that at the end, you remove all the temporary permissions that were granted. And watch carefully for phishing attempts or session hijacking during that time. A secure migration plan is just as important as the migration itself. At the end of the day, this conversation is really about control. Businesses should always know where their data lives, how it's protected, how it can be exported, and whether they can move it freely if needed, and also whether the backups and exports are actually going to be usable. Because the companies that stay adaptable over the next several years won't just be the ones adopting new technology. They'll be the ones that can change technology without losing control of their operations. That's the real value of having a backup exit strategy. Your technology should support your business goals, not limit your ability to grow, adapt, or make changes confidently. If you're not sure whether your business could cleanly move data out of your key platforms, I would say that's worth looking at now before there's an emergency, before there's a breach, a renewal deadline, or a rushed migration. At Eternal Networks, we help businesses review their vendor stack, identify lock-in risks, and build a cleaner, safer plan for backups, exports, migrations, and recovery. And I love talking tech. So feel free to message me anytime. I would love to have a conversation with you to see if there's anything we could help you with. You'll see a link on the screen, and we'll drop it in the chat so that if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one conversation with me, you can do that. As I said, I truly enjoy talking tech and strategy with other business leaders. All right, that being said, let's see if there's any questions from our live audience. I'm not seeing anything. So we'll go ahead and wrap up. If you have questions, post them in. If you're watching later, I'll definitely respond to you. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. Hopefully you found it helpful. And if you did, please let us know. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, right? Any type of feedback. We really appreciate receiving feedback because it helps us to create more content that's valuable to you. Also, don't forget you can subscribe to our channels, hit those notification bell icons so you don't miss any updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to help you to navigate the world of tech and cybersecurity. And if you need any further assistance, you can always reach out to me via DM, or all of our contact information, phone, email, everything is on our website at itnet.works. Hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend, and we'll see you next week.